My talk today is about the interview conclusions from the ELT Ireland Good Practice project, which was a series of interviews with people from different schools in different parts of Ireland on their experience with COVID-19 and dealing with the pandemic and the good practice that they developed as a result of coming to terms with that challenge. So these were the different people who took part in the project. You can see that they're from a whole range of different schools, some from Dublin to Galway to Wexford and Donegal and Cork, so all over the country, and people from different positions in the schools who were kind enough to share their experiences. And they those videos and those recorded interviews are available on the ELT Ireland YouTube channel and on the web page of our website and in the ELT section of our website as well. So in terms of the interviews, these were the questions that we posed to all of our interviewees. Firstly, what challenges has the pandemic posed for them? Secondly, we asked how have they responded to those challenges? And what has the feedback been, was the third question. That feedback from either staff or students to the responses that the schools and the teachers have had to come up with. I asked them then as well, what had they learned along the way? And this did not include how to use Zoom because it's kind of a given at this stage that that's what everybody is doing. And then I asked them to look into their crystal balls and tell me how do they see it developing in the medium to long term. Are there things that stay with us that we have discovered how to do? Are there things that go back to normal in the extent, and are there other things that we would need to develop as we move forward? So those were the different ideas, and the main points that came back to me from these interviews were the following: that it's important to provide support beyond the classroom, and that is support to your students as well as to your staff. And so that was essential, and it was necessary as well to be patient and flexible with the students, and again as a manager with the staff, because it was a challenging and is a challenging situation for everybody, and they are dealing with lots of things at home and outside of the work or the study life that will impinge upon them. There were several people, and in different ways they said that ongoing communication was essential, that we have a regular, consistent and accurate communication with our students and with our staff. And if we don't know, we say we don't know. That is essential, not to be in a position of saying something categorically and then having to correct it kind of on a continual basis. The technology learning curve was a big one for everybody. It was there was a lot of new tools and new techniques, but also there were people talking about building on what they had, that they had, where there was digital material available that made the transition easier, and where there was some use of VLEs, whether it was Edmodo or Classroom or something else, that was also a strong foundation to build on for those schools that had that. But the general conclusion from everybody who was involved was that there is no substitute for face-to-face. And even where there was some good interaction being organized over Google Meets or Zoom or the other platforms that are available, there was still a loss of personal connection as a result of not meeting people in person. And so everybody felt that. The benefits to online were also underlined, that there was some surprising positives that came out of this forced move to online, that there were different students who shone, who would normally have been very quiet and kind of hidden in the classroom. And it was possible to focus on different aspects of the language or the skills that would normally not have been so much to the fore. There was exciting new ideas that came out of it as a result. So as a result of having to adapt and having to improvise, there were lots of new things, and there was a general kind of permission to and a necessity as well to reassess and reevaluate everything that we do and come to a new best practice. What is it that is that we agree is the best way to do things, or what constitutes a high standard of educational practice in this new scenario. So that was something that people found to be a positive, that instead of doing things the way they had always been done, there was an opportunity to reconsider and reevaluate. The digital divide became very, very obvious. It was easy at the beginning to say, oh yeah, we'd just get the students to connect to their classes virtually. But this was complicated by the kind of device that the students had, the level of connectivity that was available to them, and the space that was there at home. So space actually was the biggest one. Did you have a space where you could be focused on your lesson and study? Most of them were in sitting rooms where they were sharing with other people who were also doing virtual classes. So that was a key issue in the digital divide that emerged as a result. And keeping motivation for learners and for students, that was important, but also challenging. So to celebrate the achievements, the things that we were able to achieve in this kind of limited and restricted environment, and set goals and keep those goals in front of us as much as it was still possible to do. So where students had end of term exams that couldn't be run in the usual way, that we found an alternative way to run those things, so that the students still got the sense that their progress and their achievements were important. There were some key quotes then that came out of it. So it's not, instead of me just paraphrasing, there was some things that the different interviewees said that really stuck with me. So I picked out the following ones. The one that came kind of top of my mind from Joe is that we want to be in the classroom. That was something that he said, that as teachers and as students, even though there were benefits and conveniences to teaching online, in the end, that's what people wanted. They wanted to be in the classroom, and they felt the lack of it. And he said that as soon as the possibility is there, his intention was to be back in the classroom with his students, taking whatever precautions were necessary. Gina in Donegal English School was saying that the revelation for her was that paperless classes are possible. She always felt that to be the case, but the resistance was quite high to actually going the whole hog and doing that. But now everyone is doing it, and so it's just a matter of course. And it's clear that she was right. Her sense of that was right all along. Roisin from Babel said, it's about continuous improvement all the time. So kind of having moved out of the routine into this new world with these new ways of doing things. It's not just enough to kind of arrive at a point of this is what we're doing. It has been necessary and has been an experience of finding better and better ways to do that all the time and continuously improving. Patrick in Galway said that COVID safety is going to be a factor when students book in the future. It's something that schools are going to want to prove and advertise and tout and make it a major selling point. Jen said that building community at a human level was the best thing about the pandemic, and is the sense of there's much more than students are there in the classroom for a few hours, and we're helping them develop their language skills, but we had to develop a much stronger sense of community and supporting them, checking in on them. Where are they? How are they doing? And how can we help them with the challenges that they're facing? Joanne said that change is difficult, but this experience has proved that it is absolutely possible. So where any change would have been difficult to push forward and to push through, and would have taken a long time, now we have proven that it can be done quickly and effectively. Still with difficulty, but absolutely it is possible to make those big changes. Fiona says that the transformation from what's Zoom and how does it work has been absolute. Where the comment is, here is Zoom, here's your digital work, it's easy, and we're getting on with these things as a matter of course. Carmel said, among other things, that maintaining physical or social distancing is a stress. That is something that weighs on you when you're trying to maintain that vigilance and saying, oh, am I too close to that person, or do I have my mask, and are there too many people in this corridor, are we all going the right way? That there is a stress element to that, but still she insisted that it's much better to be in the classroom, to be in the building, and to manage those challenges. Aidan says there is a chance to evolve here as schools and as a sector, that the process of change has been accelerated in a way that would never have been possible or would have been glacial before now. But now we have an opportunity to evolve and to establish ourselves as a very progressive sector internationally. Anna said that the tech problem is not how to use it, but how to apply it in the classroom. So as individuals, as teachers, we can work out how to use any particular technology and make a success of that. But when you want to take that to the classroom and to your students and think about how is this going to work as a classroom tool, that's a whole other challenge that needs a lot of consideration. And Robert pointed out that one of the challenges is and has been knowing where we fit in the regulations. So regulations are being devised for workplaces, for education, for second level schools, for universities, but for the English language education sector, it is difficult to know where we fit and what to apply. And that's something that we have all been wrestling with during this period. So my takeaways as the interviewer and talking to all these people are the following. The first thing that came out was that collaboration between schools is more important than ever to prove that Ireland is a safe and a quality destination. So yes, of course, there is an element of competition, and that kind of thing is important, but the reputation of Ireland as a destination is what makes whole sector possible, and makes the whole interaction, it makes the whole business possible for everybody. And then, we can compete over certain bookings and that kind of thing, but they have to choose Ireland first. So that is something, and our response to the pandemic and to COVID-19 is going to be an important measure of that for the international reputation of Ireland as a destination. The second point is that students are part of the community they live and study in. So whether they're in Donegal or they're in Dublin or they're in Cork, the students are not something separate to the community, but they are in it, they are part of it, they are there on the front lines, working in the shops or in security or in elderly care, and they are part of the community that is taking on this virus and taking on this challenge, and they're not some kind of separate alien entity that is apart from it. So that is something that has really come home to me in the course of this and in the course of talking to everybody about it. The third point is everybody is technology enhanced now. We're all about the blended, the hybrid learning, and it's not a case that there is any school that has continued to operate who doesn't now know what that is and has got themselves up to speed. Everyone has got themselves up to speed on it. So it is not a differentiating factor in terms of schools anymore. The next point for me, and this is something that, maybe the prejudice there might be that, oh yeah, the students are lackadaisical and devil may care, but I have found that the vast majority of students, and this is borne out in the interviews, are responsible and they care about safety, and so they are on board with the effort to reopen and to operate in a safe way. One of the things that came home to me then as well is if we can cope with this, kind of one of the most difficult challenges that we could possibly imagine as a sector, as individuals, as professionals, what else are we capable of? What we've kind of knocked away at limitations to do things that we would never have taken on before. So it's got open possibilities there. So I think that's another hopeful point to consider. Next is that student living arrangements are a factor. I said that before in terms of the digital divide, in terms of students having to study from home. The arrangements that they're living in are an important factor. But we've discovered location need not be a factor. So we can have people connecting and joining from all sorts of different places, different countries, different time zones, and suddenly that's not important anymore for getting students in. Of course, they still want to travel. They still want the in-person experience. They want to see Ireland in the flesh and get to know what it's really like to live here. So I'm not saying that distance or travel is eliminated as an element in what we do, but it is less of a factor than it was. And finally, dealing with life problems is the ultimate language task. So students have had to take on and understand so many challenging things in the course of the various instructions and guidelines and tests and close contact scenarios that they have had to manage, never mind kind of all the accommodation and other issues that they have to work with. That this has been a huge language challenge as well as a life challenge for them. So seeing them rise to that has been very positive as well as we're kind of proud of them as their teachers in the way that they've been able to take that on. So that is the end of my presentation. I hope that you found it a useful summary, and that it will encourage you to go and have a look at the individual interviews and hear what people have to say about their experience of uh, managing and developing new and better practice as a result of this experience that we have all been through and are continuing to go through with the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much.